if you just forget for a second what people are thinking about you, you can have a very colorful life.
You guys can hear Alex's voice is great on the mic.
Despacito. But as long as you are not physically hurting anybody with your truth, stand in that truth.
Hey guys, welcome to Art and Life. This is your dose of creative inspiration filled with great conversation about the beauty and intricacies of art and life. This podcast is available on both YouTube and Spotify, so either subscribe or follow. Hope you enjoy. Peace. Welcome back to Art and Life, everybody. I'm excited to be back. I'm in the zone, even if I got a boom. This ain't any eccentric fashion.
Is my AirPods?
Shit. Is that... It is. It is. It's right on my... Cute. This is not AirPods. It's a broken toe. So don't mind that. But guys, exciting episode today. My next guest is a true star, shining in the living the way he wants to freely. He's an amazing actor and singer who went back and forth from Canada and eventually settled back in the Philippines, where he found success with star magic. His talent, spanning in many roles over his career, has finally led him to his first Hollywood debut in the film Glitter and Doom, a queer jukebox film produced by Speak Productions, taking the lead role of Glitter. I'm very excited to be sitting down and getting to know his journey as an artist. Everybody, let's welcome again Alex DIAZ.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you for understanding the second take.
Yeah, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Like
thank you for
said,
being down for this podcast, dude.
I've been seeing your podcast on social media for, my God, when did you start this? I've been seeing it for a while now, and I've
only
reached out to
started
you
last year, actually.
Yeah, and I've been I was reaching out. I reached out just now because I was I want to be there, and I was waiting for something, something important to have to say, So
especially with this feat that you have, of course. But no, I'm so happy that Alex saw the value in this. We are still a small podcast, but I saw that you really supported, and I'm so grateful. We're only trying to do good things on this podcast, so thank you again for being here.
And can I just say, art, even without the recognition it deserves, is still art, and I love the people you've brought on here so far are artists in the Philippines that are so underrated that it sometimes it's an uphill climb when you have talent, because if you're not relatable, how do you get the traction?
Yeah.
But the artists that you have put spotlights on just make me so humbled. Shout out to Curtis Smith. I love that guy. I love that guy so much.
So freaking talented.
So talented. And it
yeah.
just makes me so much more humbled to be here with you. And I've seen all your commercials on social media. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too. I'm an Alexter, as we said.
Yay. Oh, speaking of, I just want to shout out to my Alexters. We've been with each other for 11 years now. And of course, I was 20 when we first got together. 11 years.
Wow.
And it was, of course,
it's longer than any relationship I've had.
Me too. Me too. And standing here 11 years later, I have the same admin and she has the same love for me. And it just, everything that I do in showbiz, I could quit today and get a job somewhere else and still be fulfilled, because I've learned so much in my life. But everything I do now is I need to prove to everybody, and also my Alexers, that they were right,
Aw.
So
thank you for supporting Alex.
I love you guys.
That's awesome that you've had these people just by your side for 11 years. That's incredible. So, it's always great to have people supporting the art, the artists. We need more of you people out here in this world. All right, Alex, we're going to start off with an icebreaker. It's an icebreaker of fast questions, getting to know the artist, your supporters, the Alexers. They want to get to know you, who you are. Because we all about real personality and real shit in this podcast. So I'm going to ask you some questions about the things you're enjoying right now, your guilty pleasures, and you got to answer me as fast as you can. All right?
How guilty.
So this is Artbreaker. Let's
1, 2,
go.
3.
Artbreaker. All right, Alex, what is your usual morning playlist that you get up to?
Upbeat, euphoric. It's a playlist. I do not have a specific artist that I love, but I need a vibe in the morning, and the vibe is not piano. It's
piano is
that
me.
Will get piano for studying.
Yeah.
But euphoric, upbeat on Spotify. This is not an ad. This will like, I don't know.
Spotify, you know.
It gets you up there. It gives you the energy to like, okay, I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna do my shit. Like, let's go.
All right, euphoric, upbeat.
Get that
playlist.
Euphoric is in there.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Spotify has something there.
So they got it. Yeah.
All right, favorite song to bust out singing to when you're happy or when you're sad. What is a song that you just like? Because you're an amazing singer.
Oh, stop. I like "Float On" by Modest Mouse.
Ooh.
You know it?
Yeah, I do. I kind of forget like the. We'll all float on.
Float on, okay, yeah. And we'll all float on, okay. And that's the message. Like, no matter what happens
It's in my Spotify. I just haven't listened to it in so long.
Yeah, it's an old song. But we will all float on, okay. And
we will all float on,
that's
okay.
Facts.
Facts. Current mantra or belief that helps you get through life.
Oh my God.
Or gets through the day. Anything that, you have to remind yourself.
The first mantra I had going to showbiz was disrupt, inspire. So in order to, I think that's how it has to be. You have to disrupt a norm in order to inspire change. But one thing that has really gotten me
That's where
through,
change happens.
Amen. But one thing that has really gotten me through this year was, in my head, just repeatedly, staying power.
Mm-hmm.
When I wanted to quit, staying power. And
staying power.
Yeah. Because you need to stay long enough through the difficult times, and I promise like beauty is on the other side of.
That's true. I think like it's easy for people to just quit. It's easy for you to be like, this is too hard.
Yeah.
Move.
Yeah.
But then you don't realize like, what if you stayed and you tried? What if you just kept going? I mean, like, I know that your career, you wouldn't have gone into this film. I wouldn't have gone into the things that I'm doing now if I had quit. Because it's hard.
Yeah.
And so I love that. Staying power.
If we had stopped when the audio cut. Right? Staying power, guys.
Staying power. That's what I'm about right now.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Thanks for all your answers. I love that we have a little bit of a gist about who you are, what you like right now. Now we're going to get into deep stuff because today's episode theme obviously is the journey of really finding yourself, getting comfortable in your own skin. And I feel like you're shining through. You really have found your true self, I feel. And I know even if it's hard, if it's still continually hard, I think that in a way that you still found happiness because you seem like very, very comfortable in who you are. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, and especially how his acceptance of himself and who he is has led you to this amazing achievement. And obviously we're going to talk about that amazing achievement. But before that, I want to get into the journey toward that. So I want to go back to your childhood, like growing up, you have had experience of growing up with both a Canadian and, Filipino cultures. Like, I also kind of feel the same way. I've had Western and Filipino culture.
What are you? Like, what are you?
What are you? I'm a mixed breed.
Yeah.
Well, I have family in Guam, so I'm like, Filipino
Guamian.
American. Yeah, Chamorro. Shout out to
What do you call people from Guam?
Guamanian or Chamorro. Shout out to the Chamorros out there. I represent Guam.
Yeah, you can
do?
I went there when I was in high school. I was 14.
14. Damn. That's like Guam has developed way more since then.
Gosh.
I mean, it's still like Guam is a very small island, but besides me being Chamorro, you grew up in both Canada and the Philippines, right? Like, was it difficult to kind of have both cultures and understanding like how people are in Canada and understanding how people are in the Philippines? Like, how was that like for you?
I go to Canada and I'm literally Chinese. And
oh, really?
Yeah, I'm too Asian to be Canadian. And then I go to the Philippines and I'm too white to be Filipino.
I see. Chinese, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I guess
a generalization
you do have a little bit
of the population, And I think it's difficult because it's easy to say like, oh, I'm a citizen of the world. But But that's not the same experience as someone who grew up in the Philippines. And like, for example, as an actor, if you were to go and be an actor in the Philippines, it would be easy for you to play roles in MMK because you understand how you know that the lives are. So, you know, it's what's the question?
Was it like difficult to like have to switch?
Yeah, it was difficult. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Was it difficult also like coming into, because you moved back to the Philippines when you were how old?
12.
How was that like having all, you know, living in Canada for a while, coming to the Philippines and having to like have new friends? Like, what was that like being a white kid, I guess, growing up here?
Yeah, I mean, like, think of this. My dad came from the UK. He came from Scotland, and he came from like wars. He comes to the Philippines. He finds my mom. You know, both of them have had previous marriages, and you know they get together. And it's so different falling in love back then as it is now. Now you have so much choice and freedom and options. And then you know you have us, and they just it wasn't happening in the Philippines, so we go to Canada. So all of a sudden there's this whole other culture. You know, I remember being like 5 years old or 7 years old and being in kindergarten, and everybody had their lunch boxes that were arranged with crispy squares and an apple and a juice box and, you know, a hot dog or something like that. And then mine was Vienna sausage and a cup of rice.
That's so Filipino.
Yeah, but in the Philippines, it's like a whole ass meal.
Yeah.
But you go there and you kind of like, I'm kind of like I'm feeling things here. And that was my first inkling as a child
that like
that
something's
I was different. Yeah. Much before I found out about my sexuality, I knew that there was a socioeconomic difference in me compared to my
It's crazy
white
that
peers.
simple thing of a lunchbox. And I love that I love that perspective of yours was like you saw the difference because of the different lunchbox. Like
I was begging. There was a circle, and I'm like, "You have extras?" Like, you know, as a kid, but yeah, you're totally right. Like that was as a child.
And it's crazy. It's very clear to you.
Yeah. That's when you realize it, like, wait, I'm not like everybody else.
But so did you feel also different coming back again?
Completely. I used to be severely bullied. I've had several of my bullies reach out to me and say, like, I'm so sorry. Like,
darn you guys.
I was going through a lot. I'm sorry for bullying you. But it doesn't change the fact that, like, getting here was really hard for me. And I just remember thinking, like, when I joined theater and I used to get bullied for being in theater, like, I used to get bullied for not knowing how to speak Tagalog.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I am not the best at it either, but I try.
Do you know how to speak Tagalog?
I do, of course. Oo naman.
Oo naman, yes. So mula ngayon, magta-Tagalog tayo.
There.
I cannot.
Wait, so you were bullied in theater? Like, when did you start
I was
theater?
bullied in high school. I remember going into class, and I was like 2 months late because, you know, summer is different in Canada. And, you know, my voice was still high. My balls hadn't dropped. And there was no seats in the class. And I go in there, and, like, the seat I'm seated on is the very front. And I didn't know Tagalog, but I knew the bad words. So I would hear, like, bakla. I'd hear, like, bobo, gago, malis ka na dito. And, like, bakla ka talaga. I guess they're right now.
Kids are so mean. I guess
because they weren't wrong. Like,
kids are so mean.
Yeah.
And especially that they associate that with, like, if you go theater or whatever. Because I feel the same way with dancers. Like, there are dancers that I've because I've been dancing my whole life. Like,
yeah. You're good at dancing. I saw your
thank you. But there are dancers, like, for men at least, like they have to handle, like, the bullying because, you know, dancing is not, I guess it's not like, or at least before, people think, oh, if you're a dancer, like, you're also, like, gay or whatever, like, it's feminine. But man, have you seen my team dance? Like, that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, some people have had to deal with that. You know, some of my teammates have had to also deal with it. And I just think it's ridiculous to have to equate someone, especially, you know, if it's dance, if it's theater, it's a beautiful thing. Like, stop bullying, guys. Let people be.
Yeah. But it's interesting because, like, back in the day, if someone was to do ballet, especially a man, it was very masculine. But nowadays, because of culture, automatically, and automatically, if you're doing ballet, it's very feminine.
Yeah. Art.
Gay, bakla, gago. Like,
yeah, that's probably gonna be like people are gonna just like shame you for it. Like, well, I'd like to think that hopefully that our society is opening up because let people do what they want, man.
I'm sure there was tons of gay people back then. People didn't know how to read them.
Yeah, for
now
sure.
now we do, but it's okay. Like, like
let people be.
let people be.
Wait, so
man.
you did theater. When did you start theater, and was that your first like art form, or how did you get into art? Like, you're amazing artist. Like, how did you start?
I was Simba.
You were Simba.
I was Simba in The Lion King in grade 7. And then when I got to college at Enderon, I was on radio. And then from the radio station, somebody called in and was like, hey, who is the guy speaking right now?
Mm-hmm.
And my radio name was McDiz. That's why my Instagram is Alexander McDiz. And then from my voice alone, that's how I was scouted.
I mean, clearly you guys can hear Alex's voice is great on the mic.
Despacito. You know what I mean?
So that's how you were scouted. I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah.
So they scouted you, and then how did it all like pan out? Like, you discovered that, you can bring your acting into it and your singing. Like, how did singing came from the theater?
I mean, like, I just want to shout out to every kid out there who has ADHD, whether it's diagnosed or not. Like, from there, I was thrust into Star Magic. I was launched. I was the only person who nobody knew. Like, everyone else, like Julia Barreto, Liza Soberano. You had Jerome Ponce, Khalil Ramos. You had, oh my God, it was such a heavy star-studded batch. And nobody knew me. And I remember sitting at the first press con and nobody asked me any questions. And I just remember feeling so inadequate. Aww. But it was such a fire. And so from there, I got to believe. I got Pangako Sayo. And then I was asked to join Mix. And then I joined Mix. And then I was asked to come out with a single. I came out with a single. And then I did theater. Like, the ADHD pushed me to really, like, grow in various areas. And
because you're doing all these different things. When you had theater and you discovered that you got discovered by Star Magic, you had all these films. How was that like? And because you were 17 when all of this was happening, right?
Yeah.
That age. How was it like having all those eyes on you, having the spotlight on you? Like, even though like you weren't used to it, like you're around these people you already know, or these artists that you think that have all these accolades, and you're thinking, why am I here? Like, how was at least having all those eyes on you?
Being the least known. Although I was like, I hate this. It was a very good motivator, honestly. And I think now with a positive perspective on it, if I was to be put in that situation again, I would be much lighter about it. Like, okay, nobody knows me.
Yeah.
Then I can define myself,
It gives you a push, definitely, because it's like you have to prove yourself in some ways,
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, you need to be able to take these moments where you could just give up, and you need to use it as fuel, right?
For sure. And you also touched up like a little, on one of the questions I had, you touched up on ADHD and anxiety. And I know that that's something that you also want to, advocate on and like talk about, like, is in this time was when you had all the spotlight on you, when you had all these films and all these work coming in, like, was ADHD and your anxiety also increasing at this time?
Yeah. I mean, growing up in the industry like this, like, especially coming from a kind of turbulent household, there's a lot of love, but there was also a lot of turbulence. It gives you this kind of, you don't feel safe in safety. When you feel safe, there's always that thing in the back of your head that's like, what's the catch? So I did have a lot of anxiety, growing up, and especially with my ADHD, I was diagnosed at 28 because my dad.
It was last year.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, in my career, I think looking back, it was very much. You can see how I was always interested in trying things, but I was relating my success directly to the accolades that I should receive. Like, like, it would only be valid if I had millions of people validating me, or if I had an award body. No, I have done some amazing things in my life offline, and like, I still want to be a fireman. Like, and I could, if you just forget for a second what people are thinking about you, you can have a very colorful life. And so
I do believe that too. I mean, like, I think if you stop thinking about what other people are going to think of you, and especially validation, having all those eyes on you and having to deal with that stuff, the moment you just be like, okay, what makes me happy? And like, like you're on your own journey, right? And
Really?
it's something, it's a journey that not everyone's going to understand. Speaking of expectations and living up to society and being accepted into society, like, is it something that you have struggled with, being in this journey, being in the spotlight? And is it something that you're still struggling with now?
That's a really good question. Like, I've always felt like I was too soft for the cookie cutter leading man, because I'm very emotional. I'm like an open nerve.
Cancer
Things. Totally cancer things. Oh my God. And at the same time, like, I don't fit the stereotypical size. Like, I'm not, I'm 5'8". I'm not the tallest guy. I'm not quiet. I have an opinion. And I just don't think this fits the predisposed narrative of what people should be. But the problem with that narrative is it's so unhealthy because nobody's like that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there are so many people in this world that are soft. And softness is not weakness. And so we need more films showing that, like a Leonardo DiCaprio or a Brad Pitt is not the standard. It is a hyper stylized reality of what a man should be, and it is not accurate,
I love that. Because he deserves an applause for that, honestly.
Hey, cue the applause button.
I know. I had it and then I lost it. As you can see, I'm having trouble with my audio.
I swear you post.
No, but I respect that, and thank you for even like sharing that, because I feel like that's something you also had to just put your ego aside and what you felt about the role. It's more of how can this help someone else, someone that relates to this role. And I'm so happy that like, look at you now, like, just the success that you're finding, and this is your first Hollywood role. Like, you're speaking to a lot of people that maybe not they may not have that kind of representation out there. And like, you being who you are, growing up in this kind of society, growing up in the Philippines, and having to just take it on with just as freely as you did, like, that's a lot of respect, and you should be very, very proud. Now that you're living more freely, you're living more the way you want to, do you feel like you found new happiness, or at least more happiness? Like, how is it now, now that at least you're more open with who you are?
Every day is still a fight. People think that, like, you come out and then it's okay. No, like, the weird thing about being in showbiz and in the industry is that you say something one day, and 100% of the time, you look back on it a year later, you are not the same person.
Oh, absolutely.
But people will define you based on what you said 5 years ago. But, like, why am I still here? Because we didn't choose this. We didn't fucking choose this life.
Yeah.
It's not our fault. Okay, let's say it's a disease. Let's say that we're all diseased. Who inflicted this disease on us?
Yeah.
Like, heterosexual people who told us that we were not allowed to live just because, no hate to heterosexual people. Like, people are people. Whatever.
Yes.
But it's already a losing battle from the start. And I think my only goal here is to create a deeper understanding. So it's like, you don't understand it, just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. If you don't understand, if you don't support it, like, why are you talking on it? Just let people be, and like, let people be happy, you know?
Yeah. And can I just say one more thing? Like, not 50 years ago, we were getting, the Stonewall protests were happening. So, queer openness is so fresh. It's so fresh.
Yeah.
So you need to give the community time to mature into these ideals that like the heterosexual community now have.
Yeah.
Not everybody had freedom at the same time as you,
Absolutely. And like, I guess now that you're kind of speaking, for yourself and for the community, is there anything you would also want to say to people that are at least kind of struggling in their own skin? Like, maybe, you're so brave, and maybe you don't consider yourself brave, but you here just talking about and being open with me, talking about your struggles also, like, I think this is already going to help people that
I
are,
hope so. I hope my English wasn't too fast. Like, I hope that. Do you have subtitles in Tagalog, please?
Shit.
She's like,
More work
that's
for
a
me.
lot of work.
But hey, is there anything like you could look at the camera, like if you want to speak to like any young person that, or old person that is still like struggling to be comfortable, like what would you want to, just share with them?
I think what I want to say to you is that there are going to be people who want to define you. Some of these people will make you feel validated. Some of these people will make you feel invalidated. You will try on hats. You will try on identities. You will try on, social, norms in order to fit into communities. But what you have to understand is you are unique and you are so beautiful and you are so different and you do not fit into a box or a label. Okay, so you try everything you need to try, but you need to understand that, like, you cannot be fit into a box. And so figure out what your truth is in life. Find that truth and live by it. But as long as you are not physically hurting anybody with your truth, stand in that truth. And I will be here standing in my truth until the day I die with you, with Elena.
With me. I love that, Alex. Thank you for
this
giving
platform, by the way.
Absolutely. I love that you're really like just pouring your heart and soul into this. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Alex, for sharing all of those things. Like, he was actually thinking if he was going to just pour out his soul before we shot this. But I mean, like, I love how you're just, you're really comfortably just trusting me on this. And, I really applaud you for all the things you're sharing right now. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people. And on that note, after everything he shared, of course, I have to, I want to talk about his biggest achievement, because through his, maybe it could be like a lot of hardships that you have gone through in your journey. Look at you now. You have made it to your first Hollywood debut film, which is Glitter and Doom. And so I want to use this as my last segment. It's called Behind the Work. And we're going to get to know a little bit behind your beautiful work in Glitter and Doom. This is Behind the Work with Alex. Right after this commercial, here is Glitter and Doom.
I met this guy.
Step right up.
He's definitely turned my summer upside down. You look like someone with a lot of songs inside.
Sad songs no one wants to hear.
I would.
Who'll be the keeper of this heart?
Come on over now. Come on over, baby.
You tell me it's holy, holy. I don't know what that is.
Come on over now.
They call it the fullness of time. I don't know what that is.
Come on over, baby.
Hey, hold it, console me. Some power controls me.
Remorse it, I force it.
Don't free it, just be it.
Just be it, just be it. Just be it, just be it.
Just be it,
Just be it,
just be it.
just be it.
Just be it,
Just be it,
just be it.
just be it.
Just be it.
Just be it.
Real world's calling.
Do we have to answer?
It's only life after all. Yeah.
We're back.
All right.
back.
Wasn't that an amazing trailer, guys? Exciting.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
You saw it? Okay.
Of course I did. What the heck?
Okay, because we didn't watch it live time. You guys watched it, but I took a piss and she was charging the batteries. So.
But hey, so tell us a little bit about your role as Glitter.
Okay, so I play a carefree kid named Glitter, and he wants to run away to the circus. And I think that a lot of people can relate to this because his mom, who is played by Disney legend Ming-Na Wen, who is the original voice of Mulan in the animated Disney flick.
Damn.
I know, right? She wants him to have something more reliable, something that, will pay the bills, that, is not as volatile as the arts. And Doom is a brooding musician whose mom is just getting out of jail, and he has a lot of demons. And so they meet each other one summer, and they have to decide if they want to continue this or separate, which is a very strong queer theme, because for a lot of us, we don't get the normal boy meets girl.
Yeah.
the only thing they have to worry about is the relationship. There are so many factors at play when it comes to a queer relationship, because not only is like your parents might not even want you together, but you can't be in public.
Yeah.
The shame of it all. So in this world of glitter and doom, gay is normal. Like, it's love is normal. Love is love is love. And it's told with the beautiful catalog of the Indigo Girls, which was a very popular 80s folk duo that literally changed the queer movement. Yeah.
No, and I love the tunes too. Like, I can't wait to make a whole Spotify playlist on that.
Yeah. And, I think it's going to bridge the gap between the 80s and the Gen Zs, because it's like old songs, but respun in a very, modern way. So,
well, so you were filming this in Mexico, right?
Yes,
the
2
entire
months
movie?
in
Wow.
Mexico.
How was
CDMX.
that like? 2
It was-
months in Mexico? I've never been.
I know. It's such a long flight, because you're going North America and then you're going all the way south, and then like I remember being on the plane, and the vegetation just changes so drastically. Like, you get greenery from Canada and like North America, and then you get to Middle America and it's like desert, and it was so crazy. And then you land, and I bonded with the culture, because I'm like, yeah, we were all colonized. And they're like, yeah, we were all colonized.
Let's go colonize.
Yeah. And they're very much like Filipinos, except in the Philippines we sing. In Mexico they dance.
Oh, that's true.
So everyone's dancing. In the clubs, everyone's dancing. Like,
I need to go to Mexico.
exactly. And it was beautiful. It was, and to be the only Filipino in the cast, I felt so proud.
But I want to know, like, what was your favorite part about the production process? Like, what was your most exciting part about it?
Man.
Within those 2 months.
It just felt so professional. Like, and I think just the idea of like, because here in the Philippines, a lot of the roles are like offered. But the process that I went through was
Earned.
auditioning. Yeah. And I was like, it was such a crazy process, because I was learning how to juggle in like a 5x5 balcony during the pandemic, because I couldn't go outside. And then I flew to America. I had 2 weeks to learn juggling with pins. I get to Mexico, and then I learned fire. The day I learned fire, the next day we shoot it.
Damn.
Indie is crazy. Indie filming is crazy.
Yep.
But just feeling like, man, I got myself to Mexico?
Yeah,
What?
dude.
What? Man, I could act. I could do acting forever. I love it so much. But I think the most memorable moment really was the moments on the airplane, when you're
like letting it sit in.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. I can only imagine.
Yeah,
Man, that's the best. You're like on the way there. Like, is this really my life?
Yeah, you have no data, so you're just like looking out the window,
Yeah.
and you're like, the world is such a big place, and my dreams can really take me wherever I want to go. And
You realize how big the world is, and like, I bet that was a beautiful ride. Like, just taking it all in.
Yeah, and I met so many amazing people, and I fell in love so many times with different people. Like, just the humanity of being there, and oh my God, so Ming-Na Wen, right? She's like Mulan, she's Chun-Li, she's Fennec Shand. We were shooting the circus scenes where I'm juggling fire. We were in an actual circus tent. We drove 3-4 hours away from Mexico to get there.
Oh, it wasn't like a set build? Like, it was an actual, like...
It was actual circus tent.
cool.
And we had to shoot the scene where they were like, can you go up in this hoop, and they're going to spin you around, and it's like glitter. I don't want to ruin it, but Glitter's in the circus at this point. He goes, this is going to ruin it.
Let's not ruin it. Let's not ruin it.
But anyway, there's a part in the film where I am doing circus acrobats, and a lot of them I did for the first time. And Ming-Na Wen was there. And she's at the bottom watching me. And like, for example, like I was in a hoop, and we didn't anticipate it to go 20 feet in the air, but it goes all the way up. And I'm like, I'm doing this for the first time.
Yeah.
And I come down, and like, of course, I'm like absorbing the fumes from the gasoline. So of course, it's like, it's a lot. It's very taxing.
Yeah.
And she was like, guys, that was amazing. Like, and she like initiates a standing ovation, and everybody in the whole cast gives me a standing ovation. And I'm just like,
That's deserved. Oh, that's so that must have been like, is this real? Is this real?
Yeah, it was like I'm here and I'm doing this, and like my craziest dream is an Oscar.
Hey, it's not that crazy. Like,
Not
I mean,
anymore.
it's crazy, but like for me, that's also a dream. Like, it's not that crazy. It's a dream.
And it has
It's-
your
and it's
dreams
not-
have to be crazy.
Yeah, your dreams have to be crazy. That's gonna push you towards it. But your dream is having an Oscar. Hey, small steps.
Shoot for
Alex.
the moon,
Shoot for the moon.
land
Shoot
in
for
the
moon.
stars.
For
you know?
sure, for sure. Well, I mean, to really encapsulate the whole podcast, what is something, and the segment, of course, of talking about your awesome achievement, what's something that you learned from, this production, from this film, from this experience that you feel you're going to take with you for the rest of your career and your next roles?
I learned how beautiful it is. I know this sounds like a cliche, like bear with me. I learned how beautiful it is to be Filipino. I didn't realize being in the Philippines so long how much I'd become Filipino. And I just was so proud of my culture. I'm Scottish Filipino, but I'm Filipino.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
That's beautiful. That's the biggest thing you're taking away is the beauty of being Filipino, because that's something I wish to also take with me in my career, is like, no matter how far I hope my career goes into, I won't ever not say I'm Filipino.
Yeah.
Like, even if we don't look Filipino, I will always represent the Philippines, and I will always be proud to be Filipino,
Yeah.
because there's so much to be proud of being Filipino,
Yeah.
and so I respect that that's something that you really take to heart, and I hope that in your next roles, that's something you're gonna keep living out, and that's
Truly.
beautiful that you're living that out. But thank you, Alex, for
Thank you.
all of what you've been sharing today. I mean, definitely it took balls to have to talk about certain hard things to talk about,
yeah.
but you were so open. You shared a lot that I'm so sure, even if it's just one person, even if it's just two people, you're out there, you're hearing this, and you feel heard. And I'm so happy that you're that person for people. But thank you, Alex, again for being on this podcast. It's been a pleasure to be talking to you and deeply getting into conversation. I'm sure that this is gonna give us more time to converse even more after this.
Yeah, we're besties after
Yeah,
this.
we're besties.
This is our first time having like a solid conversation,
yeah,
guys.
first time.
But we've wanted
Literally.
to like meet each other
For sure.
a while, and Issa wasn't wrong. Like,
Yeah,
it's so easy
you weren't
to talk
wrong.
to you. Like,
Thank you.
Your podcast is a platform, and I hope it shows Filipinos that like language should not be a division amongst us. Like, we have amazing creatives like yourself. You are so talented.
Thank you.
And you're putting spotlight on so many Filipinos who carry the flag with pride.
For sure.
And I hope for so much for you. Like,
Thank
I know for so much for you.
Aw, and I know for you too. Well, thank you, Alex. And guys, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, please support the podcast. I am a one-woman band. I keep saying that, but I need to stress it because any support really helps me. So that means please like the podcast on YouTube.
Yes.
Rate the podcast 5 stars if you're on Spotify. Do follow it. It would mean a lot to me. And guys, of course, another banger podcast always on the next. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Thank you again, Alex, for this. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the episode, go hit the like and subscribe button or rate the pod 5 stars. I'm a one-woman band on this, so your support would mean a lot. Peace.